Alright, I want to do a new thing on my channel, trying to give recommendations for games that I think really help out with teaching type experiences. I am, of course, an English teacher myself, so that's what I'm mostly going to be focused on. Obviously, there's good games out there to teach science and history and things like that. But as an English teacher, I have tried at different times using video games to help with classroom choices. So I'd like to show you guys some different ones that I've done before using that. One that's worked out pretty well for me is this one, Chants of Sennaar. I've only used it once before, but it is a pretty good one that has a lot of application in terms of how language works. And so I think it can be really helpful to teach different sort of language principles, or at least how languages works, and inspire students to think critically about their language as more than just like, well, you know, the thing everybody does, but rather more as a code. One real advantage, we'll just start from the beginning so you guys can see what it's like. One real advantage of this game, as you can tell already, is it's a very pretty game. Just has really beautiful music, really beautiful visuals. And it's mysterious, so that by itself is going to get students' attention. It's also pretty easy to control, which is an important thing. Most students, of course, are pretty good at gaming, but a lot of them you'll find have done just like in the past, mostly like mobile type games. And so they're not always super up or super ready to, say, participate in really advanced RPGs or anything like that. Certainly not all the students are going to be welcome for it. So having a really simple, easy to follow control-based strategy is pretty crucial to these sorts of things. And the mysterious atmosphere is going to get their interest going. The beautiful environment is going to entertain the rest of the class, because of course this can only be played by one person at a time. That's one weakness with using video games in a classroom. But the advantage to this particular game is it has a particular puzzle-like format where at least students who aren't participating can still shout out suggestions and make thoughts as to like what can be done. So we're going to look at this right here. And it shows us a code, and it talks about what you can do. This is where we can really get into sort of codes, since both of them have that particular sort of thing. We can guess that that means door, and we can guess that this means open, because that's what happened, and that this means close. My suggestion. If I want to, I can even try to confirm it. By testing it out a few times. Okay. And this shows us the benefit of learning language. Without this, it would be completely indecipherable, but this helps us figure this out. those open. It is occurring to me that this balcony just to talk about some larger things. Ah, yes. Okay. Just to talk about some larger things in the game, since we're not going to be able to see the whole game, obviously, over the course of this. There are some hints in the game that it's meant to indicate sort of the Tower of Babel, which is kind of an interesting historical reference, I think. There's multiple layers, there's multiple civilizations that you encounter along the course of the game. So it's also kind of useful, even if we're thinking from an anthropological perspective. Different cultures that you encounter have their own particular virtues that they aspire to. So here's this culture that we're encountering.
Oh.
I think that one's hello, but I don't remember the rest.
Ah.
Yes, okay. So now that gives me a thought. This, I believe, is you. I think this is that. I have played this before. I kind of remember what some of these are.
Uh-huh.
Yep. I think I got that right. But I have tried this with students before, and it is entertaining to see like the wealth of guesses that they'll go through.
Hey.
It really inspires them to think critically about the different possibilities that language might mean. And how there's similarities between symbols. I think this one. But you can also see what these old ones were. Yeah, so given that, I'm going to say this might mean help. That's going to be my guess.
Uh-huh. Ah. Hey.
starting to think come is probably not strictly accurate. It's probably something closer to like go, move. Not very helpful, is it? But it eventually is right. I remember that. So it's a compelling video game. It's a very pretty video game. I think... Oh, I remember what I need to do. I think in a bit, after we get through this room, I'm going to jump ahead so that you guys can see some of the other sectors. There's a really lot of fascinating stuff going on in this game. And a lot of the other cultures are really fascinating. I think it's really fun, too. You eventually realize there are different religions that the different groups follow. They don't go into super depth, but it's sort of interesting to see how each culture has its own thing that it aspires to and that it really pushes hard for. So that's another really compelling feature. Oh yes, I'm going to go back here, let down that thing, because currently the water is trapped. So it's a puzzle game. It's very chill. It's very pretty. It is, of course, possible that students may not take to it as it's not particularly action-packed, but it is, I think, really useful for explaining how language works and why language can be important. So it can be a useful kind of fun break game. Looks like I got something wrong in my journal. Because they just use that also for goodbye. So they use the same word for hello and goodbye, which is interesting. Okay, what I'd like to do at this point, I want to go back to the main thing and show you guys how this plays out when you're in the larger thing. So I'm going to go ahead. Let's see. I have So here, if we look at this, they had, this had been the last time I had my students play it, and you can see they had validated a fair amount. They had also run into these guys called the Warriors, or at least that's the sort of the devotees. That's what the name term for this thing. And this is sort of their god. But then the Warriors have their own particular language, which we hadn't really managed to decipher anything of. We've just seen a couple of glyphs of. This was, if I'm remembering correctly, we were playing hide and seek with a little boy. Yeah, we need to kind of find this little boy. This, though, isn't really... Oh, okay, so let me see. You seek me. I do not remember enough about this to get this taken care of right now. What I want to do, though, is show you guys. Because I didn't want to do this immediately because I wanted to first show you guys. So, like, here's the warriors' culture. And you can see, eventually, of course, you translate out. This is after we've gone much further through the game. When we get here originally, you are not able, the devotees are not able to locate this area, and you get to this area, and you have to stealth through this area and avoid the warriors. But at this point in the game, I have unlocked this region and made it so the devotees can go, and the devotees and the warriors and the scientists and all the other people are all part of things. So it's a much more beneficial relationship in that way. You can also find a warrior's costume, which of course is a whole fun thing. That's what I've done here. I believe when I was here before. But there are, so we have the warriors, we have all these different like languages that we weren't learned. We also have I think these were the poets. Yes, these were the poets. These were the bards. They were an interesting people. They have their own particular grammar style, which really threw me when I played them. And they are kind of pairs to the scientist people. These guys right here. They are sort of brothers. That's one like thing that we came out earlier, is that you have the alchemists and you have the bards, and they are sort of related. So that's something to overall the sort of fairy creatures, or what the alchemists call the fairy creatures, which is the kind of final group at the very top of the tower. So these are just big spoilers here, probably. I probably shouldn't show this portion of things. There's all sorts of really cool things that you can learn. Probably, of course, in the course of your game, most of your students won't encounter this, won't have time to encounter this. Just to let you guys know that, like, long term, this is like a very rewarding game to show your students and have them play. I believe there is some way of, like, fast travel, but right now I'm not able to recall it. I know there are communicators throughout the base that will allow you to move from one sector to another. But the vistas, just the landscapes in this game, are really gorgeous. The things that you can see, the contrast of colors, and they really carry a great sense of majesty, which I think it makes for a really impressive atmosphere in the game overall, which is an important thing to have. Yes, okay, here's one of these communicators. And you get, if you have these communicators, and the point of these communicators, this is a good thing to show you guys. Is they allow you to transport instantly between one area and another. But in each case, what you have is like two people trying to communicate, and they aren't able to because they're using fundamentally different language. So like this original one, it was just like the warrior kept telling them, no, you guys can't come here, you're devotees, because you don't, you're devotees and you're impure, you don't create music. And I managed to translate what the devotee was saying, which is, no, the devotees totally do create music. And the warrior was like, oh, well, in that case, you can come in. And so, like, that was a whole thing that it looks kind of like I don't have one of these figured out. Do I not have this one figured out? Let me see. Yeah, okay, I do not have this figured out. Alright, so let's, which is kind of odd. Why don't I have this? Well, among other things, I don't see that. It's telling me what I need to do. But I'll figure that out some other time. Right now, you can see this is the alchemist area. It has different things about the fairy people and the alchemists. So there's a lot of really great stuff to this game, and it's also very chill. There are some time-based areas, especially in the warriors and in the alchemist area. The alchemist area has an area where there's a monster that chases you, which you kind of need to be on the lookout for. But that's pretty far in, and for the most part, you're not going to run into that. So this is a great game if you want your students to just sort of understand the importance of language, the different parts of speech, and how to sort of interpret language. It can boost some higher order critical thinking skills, and it's something that your students can really enjoy. So I would definitely recommend this game to your students for that reason.